So, Donovan Mitchell is a Cleveland Cavalier. What's your thoughts on that? And yeah, I think it's pretty crazy, right?
Hello, Cyro.
Hello.
Just wanted to squeeze in a hello. Um, Dude, it was a great trade. I just got out of the gym and I saw it. I was like, woo.
Yeah, I was eating panda after the gym when I saw it.
Ooh, sounds good. But
Doesn't pay? Yeah.
doesn't Panda hit?
Huh?
What were you gonna say about Panda?
No, panda slaps.
Oh yeah. So first off, the Utah Jazz have done a phenomenal job. Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, Jared Vanderbilt, Oche, THT, Stanley, Malik Beasley, Walker Kessler, Balmoro, 7 first-round picks, 30 pick swaps. It's not over yet. I hope the Bulls are on the phone right now saying, hey, Clarkson and Bogdanovich for whatever the frick you want. Why are they going to fly down here? Jesus. The Cleveland Cavaliers. So I was thinking about this while I was hooping today. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they did this so well. Like, they were competitive last year until everybody got hurt. And we were talking about the Knicks yesterday, and I was saying that the Knicks, I don't think Mitchell really does enough for them. However, if the Knicks had done this when they made the playoffs and had that crazy year, when Julius Randle just won Most Improved, that's when they should have done a trade like this. Cleveland, you either had to figure out, all right, Agbaji is nice, Lauri's nice, Sexton's nice, but all of those guys are replaceable, especially with Oche. All right, we got to wait a couple of years for him to develop. Lauri's a great basketball player, but he's replaceable. Same thing with Colin Sexton. He probably wasn't going to be in Cleveland long term anyways, so you went out there and you got a star to pair with your rising stars in Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, as far as I'm concerned, they're a championship threat now.
No, this is definitely was in basketball. Yeah, I'm about to take my basketball class again next year, but no, same thing happened to me. It seemed like we were all doing something. I literally just came back from playing basketball at the rec, and I was eating, and I heard my phone buzz, and I saw I had 10 notifications on Twitter, 10 fucking notifications. I was like, holy fuck, something went down. And when I looked at this, I first saw when they originally sent this, I think it was either they said Lauri Markkanen. It basically was, Donovan Mitchell was traded. And when I started reading, I was like, holy shit, the Cavs didn't give up much. They got a rookie that wasn't on the team last year, Lauri Markkanen, which he was a good part, but he wasn't, a huge piece. He was a good part of it. And Colin Sexton, who was just going to be here for another year. And one could argue they lost 3 draft picks, but that was only 3 draft picks they lost. They didn't give much.
Yeah, when I think about the draft picks, I look at a team like the Milwaukee Bucks who gave up 3 to get Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
What did it turn out to? I mean, first off, no issues. They are still good. A rookie isn't going to – if you're a contending basketball team, a rookie offers me nothing. So Cleveland's like, all right, we're going to be competitive for the next 3 seasons. So we're not even going to be looking that much into the draft anyways. If anything, we're going to be trading these picks at some point in time for role players or whatever. This is what I want Houston to do. This is what Detroit's going to do. This is what all the rebuilding teams are looking for right now. You got your guy. You have Evan Mobley. You have Darius Garland. All right, now we got to make a big-time splash. And when you got a guy like Donovan Mitchell whose value is just decreasing by the day as we get further into summer, I mean, they pounced on it, and this is so awesome. I know this was like a rumor. I know, sometimes Cleveland would come up in this, but we were talking about Knicks. Shout out to Hornets, Cleveland, man. They're just not messing around, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, I made a video a few days ago because it was reported that Cleveland had withdrew themselves from trade talks, that they had pulled themselves out of the running. But on the whole, what we're going to talk about right now, I said that both teams won the trade. The Cavs won the trade because they didn't give up too much. They gave up, Colin Sexton, who was going to be gone in a year. They gave up Lauri Markkanen, who he really was their 4th or 5th option scoring-wise. And Donovan Mitchell coming here, gets rid of, is better than Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen combined times double. Donovan Mitchell gives you more. And Ochai, the team's still good without Ochai, and he's a rookie. So, and the picks, like you said, they're going to be competitive. Why I give the Jazz as winners of the team is the Jazz, even without Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic, and I guess Jordan Clarkson and potentially Malik Beasley, this team is starting to have an identity. This team is long. This team can shoot threes, and this team is young, the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz now have on their roster Jared Vanderbilt, Walker Kessler, also Udoka Azubuike and Ochai are reunite, former KU teammates, you know?
Maybe 2 combined busts will equal to a solid role player.
Ochai, they're both not going to be busts. At the very least, Udoka, he hasn't gotten an opportunity because of Rudy Gobert and plus health. Udoka is going to be fine. It's either he's going to be a solid backup center or he's going to be a solid, starting center. I don't think he'll ever be an all-star. He'll just be like solid. But if you just look at it, now they have, if we exclude Bojan Bogdanovic and Mike Conley, Malik Beasley, Jordan Clarkson, Taylor Horn-Tucker, we're going to exclude Rudy Gay, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jared Vanderbilt, Simone Fontecchio, Walker Kessler, Balmaro, Stanley Johnson, Udoka Azubuike, Jared Butler, Johnny Juzang, okay? Add in Markkanen, Ochai, and Sexton. They're basically like, what, 13 deep?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, if I'm Utah, I mean, you're kind of trying to pull like almost a Detroit or a Houston. Not all of these players are stars.
Oh,
Not
no, but
all of these guys are going to work out. So I'd use this season to figure out, do we have any franchise guys here, or do we have any rising superstars or rising stars? And then you go into this year's draft, you go into the next couple of drafts with all your first round draft picks, and you could even trade up with all this young talent and all your assets. So now it's up to Utah to just find your franchise guy. I don't think their franchise guys on the team right now, and I would imagine they feel the same way. But now you can go from there.
So I'm going to throw at you some names, okay? And you tell me which one you feel the highest about. First off, Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen. I could see Colin being the type of guy that he could be an all-star once or twice, but I don't ever see him being like a perennial all-star. But he could be the type of guy that he just puts up like astronomical scoring stats for the Utah Jazz, and then he has like a really big fan voting. But I think, let me throw out you some names. Taylor Horn-Tucker, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jared Vanderbilt, Walker Kessler, Leandro Balmaro, Jared Butler, Ochai Agbaji, and Udoka Azubuike. Out of those guys, who are you, I guess, the highest on?
Oh, Taylor Horn-Tucker, for sure.
You think?
It's not even close. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's close at all. Taylor showed me so much. Los Angeles should have gotten rid of him years ago, because even as much potential as there can be with him, I mean, he just didn't really ever have he just should have been gone a long time ago. I mean, 3 games left regular season. Golden State's, they don't have Steph Curry in that game. You're already locked into the playoffs, so Golden State's not playing for much. But if you can drop 40 on the soon-to-be champs, just like Kevin Porter Jr. did a couple of years ago against Milwaukee when they went on to win it and we dropped 50, those guys are going to be talented. So to me, I think it's going to be Taylor. Not that any of those guys are bad, but I'm just a big Taylor supporter.
So for me, I think the 2 guys that I'm the highest on are, and it's just because I'm biased. First off, I'm higher on Simone Fontecchio than Leandro Balmaro, but I think Balmaro, both of those guys, Fontecchio, he's a small forward, but he played shooting guard at he's 6'10" almost, 6'9", and he's a solid all-around game. Off ball, great. He can score outside and inside, but he's more of an outside guy because, he struggles with post play due to the lack of upper body strength. But he's quite athletic, and he's only 26, and he's a guy he's from my family's hometown, Pescata. And this past year, he averaged 12 points a night, 1.5 steals, 2.5 assists, almost 5 rebounds on 43% from deep and 47.5 in just 26 minutes a night. And the year before, he shot 38% from three. And I think he could come in and be like a Danilo Gallinari type guy, just scoring low 20s. I don't think he'll be an all-star, but I think he could be a 20 points per game scorer. And then Leandro Balmaro, I think he could come out and kind of develop into – he's a little harder to gauge because I think he could be a similar player to Josh Giddey, but not like on Josh Giddey's level. Maybe like a tier below Josh Giddey, but a similar player to Josh Giddey where I think his only struggle right now is the three-point shot, but he's a great defender 1 through 3. He can handle the rock. He can pass with the best of them. He's kind of a point wing. And really, it's just a question if he hits that three-point shot. He just has a very similar play style of, like, if you want to say, like, combination of Josh Giddey, Manu Ginobili, and, like, Tomas Donorowski put together. His worst comes to worst, he's Michael Carter-Williams, but nothing.
Busts. Sorry.
Fuck you. You got so with the Cavs, what's their ceiling?
Championship.
If Ricky Rubio comes back healthy sooner than expected, and he comes back and he's playing the same way he was before he got injured, okay, and he's carrying the second unit, and whenever they need defense, they're able to put Ricky Rubio in. And people forget that Ricky Rubio was like not shooting well from the field. It was really defensively. He was averaging like 1.5 steals a night and dishing out like 7 assists while grabbing like 4 boards. He was just doing everything. I think Ricky Rubio's health will their defense, because I think Donovan Mitchell, if he tries, he can be a good defender. He has 6'9" arms. I just don't think Darius Garland could ever be like an elite defender. I think when they need defense, you put in Rubio and you put Garland on the bench and you run Rubio Mitchell sometimes in the fourth to close. You get what I'm saying?
No. Not even a little bit. Why would I take the best player on my team or second best player on my team on the bench in the final minutes of the game?
Because you have 2 6-foot guards, so you put in Rubio, who's like 6'3", 6'4", and like one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. That's why you choose either you leave Mitchell or Garland next to him to keep the scoring and the shooting. So then Rubio can hound the opposing team's best guard in crunch time a lot more effectively than Garland or Mitchell could. And that way you throw out, this way you can run Rubio, Mitchell / Garland, Okoro, Mobley, and Allen in tight games where you're trying to hold on to the lead. Like, let's say it's a 5-point game, the last 3 minutes, you want to keep the lead. You throw in Rubio in there to close the game out because, Rubio's just going to clamp the opposing defender. Like, Rubio's one of the best defensive guards in the league and has been for his career. This guy's basically averaged 2 steals a night for his career. Unreal how good Ricky Rubio is defensively. Defensive rating of 107.4 for his career. Last year with the Cavs, he had 108.5. He's had 103, 101 seasons defensive ratings. All right, you put Ricky Rubio out there. That's what Rubio's known for. He closes games.
It's probably the dumbest thing I could think of. I'm sorry. I agree with Mason here.
Rubio,
why would you take the second best player on your basketball team in any situation ever? You could have a 50-point lead. Darius Garland is not coming out of that basketball game. That's why you have the Twin Towers. That's why you have Evan Mobley. That's why you got Jared Allen. That's why you got Isaac Okoro. Donovan Mitchell is a perfectly capable and suitable.
Darius Garland almost has just as bad as a defensive rating as Trae Young.
And so then that's perfect. I'm glad you set me up for this home run. If the Atlanta Hawks are up 5 points, like the situation you just said, but I have DeLon Wright on my bench, why in any way, shape, or form would DeLon Wright come in for Trae Young? That's just would never, you know what I'm saying? Even as good as Ricky Rubio is, that's not his role on the team. You can't take a rising star, a superstar, onto the bench in any spot ever. As far as I'm concerned, like it's like, would you take Steph Curry out just because they're beating the Celtics by 5 points?
I mean, that you had a good point right there, but let me here. I'm going over to NBA.com has this little thing where they do their lineups. I'm trying to find it out. NBA. NBA.com has like lineups. All right, right here, lineups, advanced stats. So if we go into regular season and we go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, their best defensive lineup. Let's look at it. 1 second. Okay. With actual playing time together. Damn. Some of you want to hear what their best defensive lineup through. All right, that's 4 games. Never mind. What's the minimum amount of minutes we should do? Let's do 100 minutes at least. Okay. Their best lineup with at least 100 minutes of last year. Damn, this is taking a little bit longer than one would have supposed. Right here, the best defensive lineup was Jared Allen, Darius Garland, D. Wayne, Isaac Okoro, and Evan Mobley. And in that defensive lineup, they had a net rating, okay? A net rating in that lineup of 22.4, which means they had basically were 22 points better than between defense and offense, like than opposing teams. So with that said, my question is maybe I'm wrong about Darius Garland, but Donovan Mitchell,
Who's defender his whole career, no?
I think the last 2 years he hasn't been good defensively. I think it's just a lack of trying. Like he's struggled, but you are right. Rookie year 105. So basically every year he's gotten kind of worse defensively. Rookie
Maybe
year.
You know who else has Utah Jazz?
Yeah, I was about to say that's another good point. So rookie year 105, second season 107, last 3 years he's basically been 111. With 2020-21 he went down to 110. So
I'm taking that.
Yeah, so he's not a terrible defender that the way Twitter makes it seem like. But one could argue that like his defensive ratings better is skewed due to the fact that he played on a team that covered up his defensive shortcomings with Rudy Gobert. And you're going to say he has Jared Allen and Evan Mobley to help him out there. I think I have no fear with if you run lineups of Okoro. You know what I want to see? Rubio, Mitchell, and Garland on the floor at the same time. You run Rubio kind of like a wing, Mitchell and Garland. 3 guards. You remember how the Thunder used to do with Schroeder, Shea, and Chris Paul?
I'm sure we'll see some of that for sure.
And yeah, I think a Rubio, Mitchell, I know it's super small, but then you have Evan Mobley and Allen there because we know they're going to run Allen, Mobley, and Okoro with Mitchell and Garland because that just works out well. You and I are both fans of Okoro. We both expect him to take the jump. And at least if he doesn't take the jump, he just gives you the defensive and like athleticism to finish plays.
Yeah, especially if he's shooting at 44% like he was second half of the season from downtown, he's a legitimate.
Yeah, and the thing is people are going to be like, well, he wasn't shooting many. I think we looked at it and it was like 2 a night he was shooting at 44.
He was shooting plenty. He's not going to go out in a normal game even and just take 6 threes.
No. But I think we both think he could be kind of like he could develop into a player that's like the Andre Iguodala light version. I just think I don't want to say he's the next Andre Iguodala just because that's a tall order to say about Okoro, but like like the light version, the Andre Iguodala on the Philadelphia 76ers. That guy was a beast.
He was a beast right away. It's it's gonna be interesting. Isaac's gonna be in a role where he's not even gonna really need to. I mean, he only took what I got here. He only took last season 6.4 attempts per game
From the
in
field?
general. Yeah. Well, he actually shot 35% from downtown because of his 44% second half rating. So, I mean, he was Mr. Efficiency. 8.5 points. He's giving you
He's a
almost a
great
steal per
cutter.
game.
He's a
Yeah,
great
he's
transition
great
player.
great off ball. He's shooting almost 52% from the field, 44.2% from downtown. So he's not even going to really have to do, they're not going to be relying on him to be scoring all these points, which is essentially kind of what he did last season. Was he'll go single digits, and then he'll have a game where he is 16 points per game, or sorry, 16 points that night. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like 6, 15,
Yeah.
7, 8, 12.
I think they just need Isaac Okoro to kind of ease into like a role that Mikal Bridges is in, because Mikal Bridges is like the fourth scorer for the Suns, arguably, because it goes, I believe, maybe Chris Paul might be the fourth scorer, but really it goes in the totem pole: Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, then Mikal Bridges. And I think that's kind of how you have to look at it here. It should go, Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, Okoro, Allen,
Yeah, and we'll see as the season goes on. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Rubio's in some closers. I wouldn't be surprised if LeVert, Dean Wade, Lamar Stevens are in some closers.